When you attend an HBCU, you play for the HBCU sports team, or even if your family has generation ties to a particular HBCU, you've been there to see the pageantry, you've seen the culture, you've been a part of that culture and understand everything that goes on with it. It's nothing like it nowhere. When you've heard the debates, we've heard the debates time and time again about how the football game was more important than the pageantry and the culture. And now we got this, man, you all gotta be kidding me, right? Y'all know I'm about to get into this thing right after this. You know it's your favorite coach back at it again. 10 toes down, about to tell you how it all went down. This is Tomorrow Leader Sports Network with your host, Coach Walker. If you're new to the channel, please like, share, subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you can get all upcoming videos. For all my leaders out there, welcome back. Y'all know the drill. Y'all know the routine. If you haven't done so already, please like, comment, and share these videos and tap in the free to tell them to come on in. It's never positive vibes. We're just having a good time talking about HBCU sports. And don't forget, you can follow us on all social media platforms. The links are listed down below in the description. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and tap on in this thing and get straight to it. Because I know y'all like Coach. We've been hearing this debate all daggone day long about Mr. Neely and his access. And you know what? I got a lot of y'all out there pissed off with me about what I had to say in the video concerning Mr. Neely and his access over at Jackson State being revoked. Well, let me explain a few things to you. In that video, I'm trying to get people to understand this. When I said serving two masters, you can't serve two masters. How in the world are you going to be able to do your job effectively for both head coach T.C. Taylor and head coach Deion Sanders that's over at Colorado University? That's literally not possible. And we already know there's going to be times where things going to slip through the cracks because the schedule's going to pack up on you in some kind of way that's going to force your hand to choose between one or the other. You guys have had to do that once upon a time, even when you was dating someone back, back in them days when you was running the streets. It's that sweetheart that you had. You was like, man, you know what? I really like this woman. Or I really like this guy. But you had Johnny or you had Susan over here that really made your mind just go boom. And guess what? You totally forgot exactly what it was that you needed to do at that time. Or let me guess. Some folks don't remember them type of things, huh? But it's okay. It's okay. And I respect that. But the crazy thing is that one thing that people did not pay close attention to was the fact that he still should have the ability to request interviews with players and coaches pre and post game to, still do the content if that's something that he wishes to do over there with Jackson State. Hey, I'm just one that's thinking outside the box. But, again, I understand where everybody's coming from. There's a lot of people that feel the way that they feel. But, I'm going to talk about this one thing, and I'm sure I'm going to get the, oh, coach, you're a hater. You're a crab in a bucket. You're this, you're that. Hey, I understand exactly where everybody's coming from. And I'm going to speak on this particular topic because this has become amusing. And I'm going to tell you why. All of the commentary that we've heard over the past few years, the debates that have gone on has always been about the football game was more important than the pageantry and the culture as far as certain things that was going on, especially when it came to game day. There's nowhere in the world everybody should be worried about pageantry when you got a daggone good game going on the football field. Well, understand this. When the bands have been the ones that has been out here funding a lot of these institutions over the years, making sure that them finances come in the door, guess what? The band always took front stage. I've always been one to say that the band and the football team should go hand in hand. There's not one that's over the other. But understand this, and I'll say it again, these bands have been out here bringing this money into these institutions to keep the doors open, instances, as well as making sure that the finances were there to continue sports to keep moving in the directions that they were moving. Now, having said all of that, one thing you got to understand is this. HBCU pageantry and culture is something that can never be duplicated. And I'm going to tell you why. It starts from the very beginning when we first started opening up these HBCUs and started getting things together, because guess what? The pageantry, the culture was all that we had. That's something that a lot of folks don't understand, that everybody see things in a different lens, and that's fine. But I'm just trying to get you to understand what's going on here. And when you attend an HBCU, or better yet, just being a part of one like Coach Deion Sanders was for 2 years while over at Jackson State, you get hit with that bug. You get hit with that bug. Matter of fact, think about it like this. Remember back, some of you out there may remember this, before the TV deal was done, the first TV deal was put in place back in 1979. If I'm not mistaken, I'm sure I'm going to hear the comments down below, and there's no problem with that. But when that contract was done as far as the TV deal, when it came to the different institutions, different colleges that were going to have their games shown on TV, guess what? The HBCUs was moved aside. So now here again, our pageantry was what kept things rolling for all of these years. All those years, and I'm going to call them the lean years, where, you know, people scratching the claw and trying to get the little dollars that they could based off the boo-boo contracts that's been out there forever and a day. They understood the product, and they wanted to get the product out there to the masses, hoping that people were going to pick up on that product and continue to find ways to move this thing forward. And you know what? In some instances, it worked. Many instances, it didn't. And when you understand the product, a lot of times people who had the chance to view what was going on, they remembered that moment in time of what they were shown from an HBCU university when it came down to the pageantry. This is something that happened to Deion Sanders, the previous head coach over at Jackson State University. Now, I know y'all like, Coach, here you go. You about to start hating. You about to start hating, Coach. No, I'm not about to hate at all. I'm about to let you in on a little something here. Because I don't know if many of you paid close attention, or maybe you saw it. I've seen a lot of comments where people say, you know, I'm only here for Deion Sanders. I was here, you know, I'm a fan of Jackson State. You know, I was a fan of Jackson State while Deion Sanders was there, but now he's over at Colorado. I'm a fan of him over there. There's nothing wrong with that. You can spread your love however you wish to spread it. I'm not here to dictate or tell you how to do what you do. You make your main thing the main thing, and that's okay. But I would say this. I'm going to talk to the fellas for a second. A lot of you guys out there, and I'm sure you remember the first time that you got to see an HBCU band get out there and get down. I mean, get down so tough. You got the dancers out there putting on a show. And you sitting there, you just wide-eyed and bushy-tailed, just looking at everything that's going on. And I'm sure a couple of you cats out there that's listening to me right now, fellas, I hope y'all paying attention. I'm talking directly to y'all now. I'm sure a couple of y'all was out there, boy, your eyes were so big and bucked looking at the ladies out there getting down and jamming that your wife or your girlfriend or whoever might have clocked you in the head with her daggone personal. What you looking at, boy? You stand a little too long. But this is the thing. You were enticed by that moment because you could not believe what you saw. Well, in Coach Deion Sanders' case, it took an incident. That incident was against Alabama State this past season between him and Eddie Robinson when they went out to midfield to shake hands after the game was over with. And everybody saw the pictures where Eddie Robinson put their hand up in his chest like, whoa, cowboy, you ain't coming up in here like that if you disrespected us all week long. Eddie Robinson wasn't trying to hear it. Head coach Eddie Robinson wasn't trying to hear all that. He didn't want the bro hug. He didn't want to get old up in there, the pat on the back like, hey, brother, good game. No, he felt some kind of way. He felt slighted by the commentary, the comments that he stated that Coach Deion Sanders made about him throughout the week. So, leading up to the game. So, here we are. After that game was over with, head coach Eddie Robinson over at Alabama State said, he ain't swag. I'm swag. He ain't swag. What did Deion Sanders do? He came back after the fact, gave his comments about it. He said, I ain't swag. He said, I ain't swag. I ain't swag? Who ain't swag? I ain't swag. And all of a sudden you saw the T-shirts. You saw everything popping up all over the place talking about who ain't swag. I ain't swag. And you saw the team even got in on it, and they joking around with it as well. But the moment is that time. The song came out, the mashup of Who Ain't Swag. If you was in the vet last season, and I can attest to you, there's a couple of cats that you seen the pictures with me, Ken Clark, Zoe, Lit City Podcast, Raw Truth Media, we all there together. Corey C. from Tiger Talk with the 1400 Club, you've seen us all stand there together on the field. When that song came on in the stadium, it was something that I've never seen before, ever. Ever. And I'm getting a chill right now telling you about it because you're looking at a coach, a head coach, standing out there on the field, turn around and lead the stands in a mashup song. And when I tell you the daggone athletes was losing their mind along with everybody in that stadium, the 50,000 plus that was in that stadium. And don't forget, that's the same weekend that ESPN Game Day was at Jackson State. When I tell you, the sound system was rocking so hard with that song right there, and you see Deion Sanders with his he had on the black slacks with the black shirt on with the towel hanging off the side, and you see him rocking back and forth, rocking side to side, and the crowd is with him. To who ain't swag, baby? I'm like, come on, man. That is a moment in time if you was not there to see it. And that wasn't something that they shown on television. They didn't show that on TV. If you were not there, you will not understand the moment that I'm talking about right now. That is the moment that Deion Sanders, to me personally, I feel is still standing in that moment. And why do I say that? Because for you to have a meeting with the Colorado University Buffaloes band directors to talk about a couple of songs that you would like to have added into or changed up based on, your theme music and things of that nature. I'm sitting there like, wait a minute. Coach trying to change up a lot. One thing to keep in mind is this, Coach. They'll give you the opportunity to change up whatever it is you wish to change up. But you got to get out there and win some games. And the moment y'all come out there and y'all ain't busting heads and doing what y'all need to do, that thing gonna go up in smoke. Why do I say this? And it's not being negative, it's the honest to God truth. And if any of you out there are sitting there saying right now, Coach, you're being a hater, Coach, you're being a crab in the bucket, guess what? You're just wanting to say, I'm being negative towards whatever's going on for the sake of. That's not the case. Because I just explained to you the pageantry and the culture, some of that goes on within HBCUs, just like there's pageantry and culture that goes on with PWIs and Group of 5 schools. There's certain things that they do that we don't do. There's a lot of things that we do that they don't do. And we've seen people try to incorporate those things that HBCUs do to add into what they have going on, and it has not worked. One thing for certain, two things for sure. Our culture, our pageantry is not up for sale. Just like you guys' pageantry and culture is not up for sale for us to come be or get a part of that as well. It's not. Y'all not gonna give us the ins and outs with that, but the one thing you gotta understand is this, and I said it previously, with HBCUs, this is something that we have had to get out here, bust our humps to learn how to do certain things when it comes to doing those shows at halftime for the patrons that's in the stands, because that's all we had. Remember, you're trying to keep people invested in what you have going on. You're trying to keep the behinds in the seats. And a lot of times we heard from a lot of previous alumnus and things of that nature who stated, you know what, shoot, if there ain't no game going on, if the game ain't booming, why, before halftime, shoot, we ain't in there watching that game. We're waiting coming in at halftime. These people ain't telling no tale about what they're doing. It's the honest to God truth. But this is where I stand with this. And I want you to hear me clear. That mashup song was something that would never be duplicated again. It can be retried. It can be remixed. Somebody's going to come up with something with, when another coach come with a catchy phrase of that nature, where it's got everybody wanting, everybody gravitating to it, trying to find out what's real, gravitating to it, talking about that one thing. Who is Pac-12 don't fly? I'm just going to say that right now. Who is SWAC being played at a Colorado game? I don't see that. I don't even think they would even pull that out the hat, but I'll say that. All media is good media. I'm saying it again. All media is good media, regardless of how it's put out there. And why I say this is because Deion Sanders has done this in the past, where he's put things out there in the atmosphere and got everybody to talk about it. And when everybody got to talking about it and just got to talking crazy and reckless, they come back with the rabbit in the hat, like, got you. And everybody sitting there look like, dang, I can't believe he did it to us again. Do I think this might be one of the moments? I kind of do. Because again, I can see, you want to make slight change. You got your locker room music going on. You say, give me your theme music in the locker room. Could that be played in the stands? Possibly. How well it will be accepted? That's something for everybody to find out, especially if they go to a Colorado home game. I feel that That's another marketing ploy to get people interested into coming to games to see what's going on, to see if by chance they try to pull out the stops with HBCU culture and pageantry, as far as getting out there trying to put on a show like an HBCU school would do at halftime. Or better yet, just the band getting out there trying to rock out a song or two that's normally played at an HBCU game. See, Coach Brown, you got me over here thinking, man. Late night, you got me over here thinking. But again, like I said, I understand. When you get that feeling, when you have that feeling, that one time, and that one moment in time, you get that feeling, being on the HBCU campus, going to HBCU homecoming, going to an HBCU sporting event, going to, whatever's happening, step shows, you name it, and you see how everything is laid out in the manner in which everybody goes about doing their thing, it makes you wonder, man, it makes you wonder, once you leave it, how can you get that old feeling back? It's like that old girlfriend. That girlfriend, everybody told you, hey, she's the one. But you're like, nah, it's something else better out there. And you go for the better. And oftentimes the better works out for you. But it's always in the back of your mind when you're thinking about those subtle things that the old girlfriend used to do that the new one doesn't, which leads you back to, hey, how can I find a way to get this thing over here to move in a manner in some kind of way, shape, or fashion like that previous thing did. And that's all I think that's going on here. It's a possibility he could pull it off. Who knows? But I do understand this. He's trying to make sure he's comfortable over there, comfortable as far as the coaches, the athletes, so on and so forth, that have come over there to the Colorado University to play football, and that's all well and great. But I got to say it again. If they're not winning, change is coming with this, because they're not going to sit back and allow all these changes to be made, and there's no return on their investment. Coach going to go ahead and get up on out of here. But I got to ask you guys one question. Which one is more important, the HBCU culture and pageantry or the football game? The reason why I asked that question is because we're beginning to see more PWIs wanting to emulate what HBCUs are doing. Culture, you can't touch it. The pageantry, you can try it, but it's going to be real difficult for you to do something with it. But guys, like I said before, that HBCU flavor is something that you could try to sprinkle that all over the food you want at the picnic. But at the end of the day, if an HBCU person ain't sitting there stirring that thing up, ain't the one making the jiffy cornbread to go with the chicken and the greens, it just ain't going to work. It ain't going to taste the same, no matter how you shake it up, no matter what you do with it. That's no disrespect. That's just straight up and down. That's just like other folks. They make things different than what we do. And they taste the way they like they taste. But I say it again. When we try to force things on people, for them to try something new, yeah, it might be a surprise. But that surprise might come back with a gotcha. And that gotcha gonna hurt. But hey, that same flavor Coach Deion Sanders is missing, again, this could be just tongue in cheek on something else that Coach Prime is trying to get everybody talking, just to see what people really think about what he's considering doing. But we'll see if it go down. But until next time, be the one and lead.